It's time to get dynamic because today I'm teaching you how to draw 5 dynamic male poses. Hello there, my name is Philip and welcome to Totally Artmazing. Today I'm going to show you how to draw dynamic poses. So what is a dynamic pose? Well, basically it's a pose that's more interesting to look at. For example, here I am sitting right now. Nothing wrong with it. It's interesting, it's fine. But now it's more dramatic. It implies there's movement, something's going to happen. The idea is to make your comic or manga look more interesting because what you've got is a still image. You want to put some action and movement into your image because it makes it look more interesting. Speaking of interesting, make sure you hit that like, subscribe and bell button so you can get notified as soon as the next exciting and interesting episode of Totally Artmazing comes out. Also, stay tuned to the end because I'm going to give you the secret word of awesomeness. Oh, you want to stay for that? And we're going to have bloopers on the end because no doubt there's going to be bloopers. For today, I want you to think about working lightly. You want to be able to move freely and easy. So what we're going to be using today, we're going to be using a pencil and a rubber. And what I'm going to do is at the end, I'm going to sort of mark the poses so you can see them a lot easier. So do you want some hot tips on how to make your character look more dynamic? Of course you do. So here's some hot tips. First hot tip, go to the mirror and strike a pose. Look at the pose. And what you want to do when you're there, flex. Flex. That tenses up the muscles and it makes the angles of your body more dynamic and that gives it a more interesting look. So remember, flex your poses. Hot tip number 2, avoid symmetry where you can. If someone's just standing still, for example, it's just a plain image. But what you can just do is just cheat the angle a little bit. Make the person stand to a different angle. It makes it look more interesting. Something simple as that can make your character more dynamic. And hot tip number 3, look for the S-curve. This is a good guide for the general action or motion of what the body's going to be making. It's a lot more interesting to look at. It'll make a lot more sense as we go along, don't worry. So we're going to be drawing 5 poses today. I've called these poses No! Stand Tall, The Savage, By the Power of Greyskull, and of course, the Superhero Landing. So how about we start getting to it? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to draw a basic S shape. And this is basically what the spine is doing. Now what I want to do is I put an upside down egg at the top for the head. Now what I'm going to show you is I'm going to draw another wider S for the general flow of the whole body. Because what we're doing here, we're trying to get the basic shape of the skeleton in as fewer lines as possible. So let me show you now, I'm going to put in a C shape for the arms. So now I can put in some more details for the arms. And what I can do here is I put another curve for the leg. So now I can see that I've got this really dynamic shape. So what I'm going to do is just accentuate it a little bit. It's going to be standing on something. Pose. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in more of the shape of the actual body itself. So I've got a sort of like a jelly, think of a jelly bean shape for the chest. See it sort of curving in the middle there, and I'm going to put in a sort of triangle for the pelvis area. So now I'm starting to fill in the details of what the skeleton's going to look like so I can see if my body looks interesting. This is the best part, to actually look back and see, like, do you like the proportions? Is it right? Do you need to move things a bit? See, I think this arm needs to come down a little bit more. So I'm going to go a little bit, remember, try and think lighter, because this is the light stage, and I'm going to make this arm a little bit out as well. See, I think that is more dynamic. It's more spread out, it looks more interesting. So bear in mind when you're doing your skeleton, play with it. You think it could be a little bit better, move it about, flex things out. That's what this part is all about. So now I'm going to put in some basic guides for where the rest of the shape is going to be. Triangle at the base for the feet. Now that looks interesting. That's our no! So now I can start filling the details, knowing that the basic skeleton of my body looks good. I'm happy with the pose, I'm happy with the shape, so now I can work on it. Okay, I'm not going to put any details on the head today, because today is all about the body. So what I can do now is I can put circles in for the shoulders to help guide me, and I'm going to put in ovals to define the body parts, and then I can go in a bit detailed afterwards. I'm doing ovals for the legs, and I'm going to join my torso. So there, he's looking pretty good. So now I'm going to just define the shape of the body a little bit better. So now I'm going to go a little bit thicker. With men you want to have harsher angles, whereas with women you want to have more curves. And there's our chest, and our waist, and our leg. The kneecap will be over here. Now with the leg you want to go out a little bit at the top and then come down, and same on the inside here. So we're coming out, and then the lower part of the leg is more narrow compared to the top. Whereas on this leg, I've got the thigh coming up, and again, the lower half of the leg come out and then back down. But the front is going to be more straight because of the angle of the leg. Okay, so the shoulders and the arms curve off. This arm's going to be a bit more forward, so I'll make that out, bring it back in, and like so. Curve this off, curve that off, and again like the bottom half of the leg, go out and then back in. And this side's going to be more straighter. Little V shape for the elbow, and then bring that back up. Standing on something, so I'm going to just make like a rubbly thing there, and just a few little details for that to show the hands. But that gives you no character. So let's work on another character now. Let's work on stand tall. Again, we're still going to start off with the S shape. So I'm going to go like so. We've got a nice S shape. So I'm going to extend this leg. This is going to be a leg. I'm going to have a head at the top. So again, an upside down egg. And that's about as detailed as I'm going to get on the head. So I'm going to put in a C shape for the arms. So I'm going to put in my jelly bean over here for the torso. So it's going to be sort of, the S shape also refers to the spine as well. So you've got your overall S shape for the body, and you also have the spine as well. It's two different things. And there's a triangle shape for the pelvis. Now this leg's going fine down this way, whereas this leg is going to be coming out this way. Down here. I'm going to have this leg facing that way. Now the arms are looking a bit flat, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just remember to flex them out a little bit. And this one's going to come down. But it's overall, it's still following the basic shape of the arc that I made. Some guides for the hands. So I've got my pec muscles going this way, so his chest is sort of arcing up a bit. So now giving it a bit more dynamic. So I'm following the shape of the spine. I've also got the shape of the overall body arc. Bring this one up. And now halfway down the legs, put down the points for the knees and bring that down. And this one's going to come from the back a little bit, from behind. Remember, out, then in, out, in. But this side's going to be a little bit straighter because it's the leg is pointing out this way. Put in a knee by putting in a U shape over here, so there the legs are looking rather cool. Put in a circle for the shoulders, and then put in your basic guides with some curves. 2 circles on the sort of halfway. Now you can define it a little better. Nice curve. And this one's going to come down. Little V shape at the side, and remember, kick out and back in for the forearms. And we've got our hand over here. Just going to put a T shape for the hand there. Same on this side. Out, in, and the hand's going to be going this way. Now to make the shoulder a little bit more interesting, I'm going to put the neck a little bit wider and bring that out to where the circles are. So there's our man just standing still. He's standing still, but it's a little bit more interesting than just a standard front-on pose. Okay, so now let's work on the savage. So I'm going to draw a little S shape like this. I'm going to put in a upside down egg again for the head, but notice I'm going over a fair bit of the body. I'm just going to put a little S shape for the spine. I'm going to draw my jelly bean for the chest. So now I'm going to put in my curve to see where my arm's going to go. Make it a little bit higher, that looks cooler. This time it's just going to be the forearms. So remember, we're just working out the skeleton here. So I've got one leg going this way, the other leg is going to be a little bit higher than the other one. So now I'm going to put in a V for the pelvis. And my chest is going to be over here, so I can see things a little bit better. This is going to come up. So now I'm sort of starting to see the pose a little bit better. I'm liking the way it's going. So I've got my leg this way, so I'm going to have a foot. I'm going to draw a triangle for the foot and a triangle over here for the foot. And again, I'm going to put in some details for the legs, putting in some bubbles. And this time, because it's a different angle, I'm coming around from the knee and bringing it back up. And this one's going to be the same, but it's a little bit more forward. So he's stepping forward and the foot's going to be standing on the tippy toes a bit. Now for the shoulders, I'm going to put in a circle over here and a circle over here. Now I'm not going to be drawing this part of the arm because it's going to be hidden behind the shoulder and the arms. So here we can just go like this. And there you have your basic savage shape. He's ready to tear someone up, but also I'm going to just put in a bit more of the back muscles to make it a little bit more interesting because you're going to see a bit more because he's hunching over. It's not going to be flat. Okay, so now, by the power of Greyskull, let's do it. Now this one I'm going to draw a wide S shape, so I'm going to draw like that. So I've got my S shape going like this, but my spine is going to be going the opposite way. So, and you can even extend it to do the other leg. So that's the general shape of what the body's going to be doing. So I'm going to draw my upside down egg for the head. And this time the body is going to be up here. So I'm going to be drawing a wider jelly bean. And down here is where the triangle is going to be for the pelvis. Now these are just guides, they're not the final thing. And now I can put in my legs this way. Now I think that could be a little bit more dynamic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub that out. This is the point where I can do this and just make my shape a little bit more wider. So I've got my S shape going wide. That looks a little bit more interesting to me, halfway. And that's more interesting. It's a wider shape, more dynamic, much more interesting. And over here again, I'm going to just put another S shape over here. I'm putting you can use the S shape as much as you want where the arms are going to end up. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a arm over here. Notice it's not following the actual top bit. It just give me an idea of where I want it to go. And this arm's going to come up. So I'm going to follow this up, this arc. And I'm going to put a fist on the end here. So the S shapes are a guide of the motion of the body. You don't need to use them as a rigid path that you have to follow. So now I'm going to put in the details for the muscles. So I've got shoulder, shoulder, circle, circle for the forearm. And now because I've got this guide here, it helps me to determine which way to do the actual back muscles to join them up to the arm. Because it's a nice lovely guide there. And out in, out in. And that's your by the power of Greyskull. I'm just going to give him a bit of a neck, and the eyes are going to be looking up. And I'm going to put the chest over this side, avoiding symmetry. So there's our by the power of Greyskull. And then finally, let's do the superhero landing. Oh, we see that in all the Marvel movies. It's cool. Not very good for the knees, but it looks cool. Okay, so the basic S shape is like this. And I'm going to put in a C shape for the arms and body. And so the head this time is going to be in the middle. So now I'm going to put in the guide for the chest, which is my jelly bean. And the pelvis is going to be down. So there's my V. So the leg, this leg here is going to be landing on the knee, whereas this leg is going to be going out. So I know that I can just do this. And already I'm thinking this is looking great. I'm liking this pose already. So now I can put in a few more details of where things are going to go. The hand is going to be flat. I'm going to have a triangle over here for the 1 foot. Now this is where the knee is down here. So this time I'm going to have my triangle at the back and the foot is going to go back to it. So there I've got my skeleton. It looks cool, I like it. I'm going to flesh out some more details. Again, nice big curves. Halfway point, so I go to there. And I got out in, and straight for the front, knee. Now this time I've got the front of the leg here. So I'm not going to see much of the back, so I'm just going to have a curve or my bubble at the back here. And then of course there's my foot. So already I can see the dynamics of the way the pose is going. The legs are going back, it looks interesting, I'm loving it. Okay, circle for the shoulder off my jelly bean. And then I can put in my curves, 1, 2, upper arm and forearm. And now I can make it a little bit more interesting by putting in a few more details. Make it go wide at the top, and then narrow at the wrist. Put in the hand. And I've got my arm down here, got my chest. And there is our superhero landing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ink them so that you can see them better. I'm going to rub out the lines that you don't need. So there we have our basic shapes and they're looking more dynamic. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a marker so you can still see the S shape. So there's the spine of our characters. So as you can see, we've got our S shape for the spine, but we've also got a general flow of action with another wider S shape throughout the whole body. So basically remember, find your pose and just flex it out a bit. Try to avoid symmetry where you can and look for the S shape. It makes things look a lot more interesting. So make sure you hit that like, subscribe and bell button because in the next episode I'm going to be showing you how to draw 5 female dynamic bodies. It's going to be very interesting, so stay tuned for that. If you're looking for more dynamic action, I've also got my own comic. It's called Amplify. It's full of adventure and excitement. There's a link in the description, so check it out. It's awesome. Wow, you guys made it this far. I bet you're waiting for the word of awesomeness to show how awesome you are. And a true adventure seeker like you must look for a good word. So how about we make it adventure? Yeah, put it in the comments to let me know that you made it this far. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Where am I going? What am I doing? Why am I doing? The shangle. That was incorrect. Let's try that again. Just finish it.